Hi everyone, welcome back for a story with me. Today's story is The Dragon Who Couldn't Do Dragony Things, and it's written and illustrated by Annie Axworthy and it's published by Evans Publishing Group. And I chose this book because it reminded me of the very start of Primary 1 when we had visitor from Sir Firebreath. And remember when he came in and our classrooms were turned upside down and there was a glitter everywhere. So I thought this might be quite a nice little reminder for us. So off we go. A long time ago, in a land of magic and mountains, lived a little dragon. He longed to be like the dragons of old that he read about in storybooks. Dragons that battled with knights on horseback, dragons that flew from country to country, burning whole forests with one breath of fire. But although Little Dragon had wings, he didn't know how to fly. Although he had a snorty dragon nose, he couldn't breathe fire. And because he was so small, he didn't frighten anyone. He wasn't a very dragony dragon at all. Little Dragon climbed to the top of a high mountain. He was determined to learn to fly. He stood at the top of the mountain, looked down, and started to run. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, he opened his wings, made a huge jump, and landed with a hard bump. And still he could not fly. Little Dragon climbed onto the head of a very high statue, and with everyone watching, leaped. But his tail got in a tangle, and the crowd of people watching below laughed and laughed as the little dragon swung gently from the sword. Little Dragon decided to try and breathe fire. He put heaps of red-hot chili peppers on his plate and covered that with more pepper. Down it all went. His eyes started to bulge, his tummy rumbled, it shook. Something was definitely happening. He opened his mouth really wide and let out an enormous burp. But no fire. Little Dragon decided to be scary. He went to the woods and spent the whole day trying to frighten butterflies. The butterflies just laughed and flew away. Little Dragon stood in front of a puddle and practiced making horrible faces. Let me see your scary faces. Oh. But when he tried to scare a baby, the baby gurgled and hit him with his teddy. Little Dragon had tried and tried. Nothing had worked. He was cross and sad, and he stomped home to his cave. He started to cry, big, hot, angry tears. He got into bed, curled up in a tight little ball, and cried himself to sleep. Very early the next morning, Little Dragon heard someone knocking at the door of his cave. In the dark, he climbed down from what felt like a very hard and bumpy bed and went to see who had woken him up. A boy was standing there smiling. He had a basket over one arm. Hello, my name is Diego. I was in the woods looking for mushrooms when I found a trail of golden blobs. I followed them all the way to your door. Little Dragon looked at the ground. The path of golden blobs led to the door, through his legs, and all the way to his bed. Little Dragon stared and stared. What were these lumps of gold? He picked them up. They were tear-shaped. Then he realized he had been weeping tears of gold. His bed had been hard because it was filled with gold. What an incredible dragon you are, said Diego. Little Dragon hung his head and looked very unhappy. No, I'm a useless dragon. I can't fly. I can't breathe even a tiny spark of fire, and nobody is ever afraid of me. Eagle lifted the little dragon onto his lap and gave him a cuddle. Who cares about that? Not every dragon cries like you. Come and live with me. My sister can be really scary. She can show you how. Little Dragon could think of nothing better. They gathered the golden tears in the basket, and carrying the heavy load together, they set off for Eagle's home. Eagle's mum was happy to have Dragon to stay. He didn't set fire to the curtains, flap in her way, or frighten the postman. She didn't even mind that there were no mushrooms for tea. Little Dragon never did learn to fly, breathe fire, or frighten babies. But now he never minded. Every day all Eagle's friends came to play with him. He was so happy that he never cried another golden tear. Eagle's mum put the golden tears safely away in the bank, and that summer Little Dragon flew from the very first time. That story does remind me of Sir Firebreath, but the little gold blobs are just like Sir Firebreath's glittery footprints in the classroom. Now, if you have watched and enjoyed this video, if you just push the little thumbs up at the bottom, it just helps us teachers know that you've watched it. See you next time.